Republican lawmakers are set to unveil their long-awaited tax overhaul bill this Wednesday, although many hurdles remain. The National Association of Home Builders already vowing to defeat that bill after lawmakers expressed openness to repealing the mortgage interest deduction without replacing it with a new tax credit. One of the big challenges here to the bill remains eliminating the state and local tax deductions. The top tax writer in the House, Kevin Brady, gave some ground over the weekend. He said that he will allow a deduction for some local taxes to remain, though it did little to silence the criticism.
The state income tax deduction, that has to be fully analyzed because that is a major issue in my district also and throughout the state of New York. So this is coming out on Wednesday. They've had 9 months to put it together. This is a bill which is going to affect generations to come. But the impact it's going to have, it's been 30 years since the last tax reform. We can't afford to have this go wrong. I want to see the entire package. Right now, I'm certainly not on board.
Right.
This involves the future of my district for years to come. I'm not going to sign on. And the fact that we're getting it at the 11th hour raises real issues with me.
So that was Congressman Peter King basically saying keeping the property tax deduction in there, John Hilsenrath, is not enough. Right. House Republicans have also faced blowback from the president and others after proposing to cut tax-free contributions to 401ks, as Dagan mentioned. But what is that going to be enough? I mean, it doesn't look like Peter King will vote yes on this tax bill if it's only property taxes that you can deduct.
So Peter King comes from a high-income,
New York
tax area out on Long Island. And they're going to lose places like that in New Jersey, in New York, potentially California, potentially Connecticut. I think what we're seeing with the 401k, with state and local deductions, with the National Association of Home Builders is that there's a lot of resistance bubbling up underneath the surface. There's been a lot of happy talk about we got to lower taxes, got to lower taxes. There's resistance building up underneath the surface for the losers in this bill. And we're going to see that come out on Wednesday when they finally put all the details of the document out on the table.
And what they keep saying is you really want to look at the whole bill, the entirety of the bill, to understand the taxes will go lower. So one pushback that Kevin McCarthy gave me yesterday when I said, look, state and local tax deduction is going to mean higher taxes for New Yorkers, which Governor Cuomo keeps saying, is that the AMT offsets that. I don't know how you feel about that, but that's the AMT is one issue. He's saying, look at the enormity of the plan. Don't just look at state and local taxes.
The danger is that they take a hatchet to the state and local tax deduction and not fix AMT or make it like a temporary fix, which has been the kind of ongoing problem with Congress for years since the introduction of AMT.
You know, I think the other thing that we're seeing here, especially with the 401k that's got you so worked up, Dagan,
it makes me furious because again, when these Republicans can't fix Social Security, they're going to basically mess with the way the most important way that people save for their own retirement.
And what they're doing is right now they're trying to trick people. They're basically using statements like we'll give you an option to actually not be taxed later in life. So that sounds really good to people, but your point, Dagan, is well taken.
They're not being taxed now on
it. It is absolutely misleading.
But Kevin McCarthy
said
to Maria, we'll expand the amount that you can invest, but we'll also give you an option to actually not be taxed later in life. We don't want you to have that burden. But again, that is they're not telling the truth to the American people. What happens right now is you reduce your taxable income by putting pre-tax contributions into a 401k plan up to $18,000 for people under the age of 50. If they cut that to $2,400 a month and then push them into a Roth where you don't get taxed when the money comes out at retirement, the whole idea of a 401k plan is that when it comes out at retirement, you're taxed at a lower rate because you're not working anymore. Right. And you have more money working for you, compounding.
Not only that, but a dollar saved today is worth more than a dollar that you're going to get 10 years from now because of inflation. So that pre-tax savings is critical. But what I was going to say is that what we're seeing here is the tension of paying for this whole thing. They're looking at 401ks because it's a huge money pot.
Right. And they're trying to scrap together as much money as possible. The whole state and local tax deduction, that's $1.3 trillion.
Right.
So even if they put caps on salaries, like, oh, you can't deduct that if you make above $400,000, that's going to take that revenue down to $800 million. Yeah. I mean, they're looking for as much money to pay for the tax.
You know how you asked me. Wait 1 second. You asked me this on Friday, and I didn't have an answer to it, but I have an answer now.
What did I ask you?
If they change the 401k contributions from $18,000 to $2,400. The estimate on how much that would raise over 10 years is only $263 billion. So
that's what I was looking
for.
So
you're going to take a hatchet to the way that we save for retirement today to come up with about $250 billion over 10 years when they need trillions of dollars potentially. That's
so one of the things
I'd say
is
I asked her the question on Friday.
Well, I didn't have an answer.
She wanted to make sure she had the right answer. She waited. Thank you.
Kudos
Thank
to
you for that answer.
Jerry
the point
Willis
I want to make
that.
is that Dagan so beautifully explained the problem with what they're trying to sell the American people right now on this 401k, and the way she just put it is perfect in explaining to taxpayers what the change is ultimately going to be. So thank you for doing that, Dagan, because people are trying to spin this right now, and taxpayers don't understand what's about to happen to them if this 401k changes are made.